today at Manchester Theatres, I am chatting with BRONTÉ BARBÉ, star of Kathy and Stella Solve a Murder. It is currently playing at home in Manchester until the 21st of October. Now, I have seen this show and I cannot recommend it enough. It is brilliant. And we've got BRONTÉ kind of flying the local flag high, hailing from Macclesfield. And she's been in some cracking shows over the years. I mean, we're talking Disney's Newsies, Oklahoma, Beautiful, Hairspray, Shrek, and on television, the hit shows Years and Years and Call the Midwife as well. But today we are all about Kathy and Stella Solve a Murder. So thank you for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be here up north. I'm very, very happy.
Yes, apart from the rain, of course.
Oh, I know, it's chucking it down here today, isn't it? But
it really is, yeah. But we've got a clue in the title, Kathy and Stella Solve a Murder. But obviously, it's so much bigger than that. There's so much more goes on. So tell us all about the story.
Yeah, I mean, so when I first saw the title 2 years ago, I thought, ooh, how are you going to make a musical about two mates from Hull who solve a murder? But not necessarily that they solve a murder, but anyway, they're trying. So basically, the story is about two best friends from Hull who run Hull's least successful murder podcast, true crime podcast, and it's their passion project. You know, like anybody, especially these days, you know, online is so accessible, and this is what they've chosen as their happy place. So. They've been doing it for a number of years now, and they probably have, you know, hundreds of episodes and not many listeners, but it's their happy place, and we sort of meet them at a time in their lives when this is their main focus, you know, and they basically get to meet their favourite author of all time, and things unfold from there.
They do indeed. And of course, we've said you're playing Kathy, who it is a comedic play, but she also goes through it a little bit, doesn't she? So tell us about Kathy and who she is.
Yeah, we sort of, I've said this a lot actually recently, but we described the tone of it as sort of the whole show as tongue-in-cheek, sort of heart on sleeve, because it's so big and comedic at times. It also affords those real moments of truth that I think really take the audience by surprise, and thus makes it quite a bit more relatable than you would anticipate. So Kathy, I mean, I love her. she's my gal, but no, so she's the sort of, she's in her late 20s. She's been away to university, and it just didn't go away. I think, you know, like for a lot of people, it was expectations. It was her family wanting her to go off and do something that she didn't really want to do, and it wasn't her calling. And you know, it didn't go away, and she ended up coming home. And that's at the point that they started doing the podcast, and you sort of find that out through the show. And it's really her safe haven and what it means to her. And I think she has a very big journey throughout the show, because she sort of finds herself, not giving too much away. But and yeah, it's been a joy to play her, but also a challenge, because I think, you know, Kathy experiences anxiety on quite a high level in her daily life, and as do a lot of people. So I really wanted to honour that, and you know, not you know, do a very truthful depiction of somebody who has anxiety, because I think lots of people have it in their minds that it isn't what it is, you know. Yeah, so it's been quite a journey getting to where I am at the moment with her, and I hope audience members can, you know, sort of see themselves in Kathy and Stella, obviously, absolutely. But I think it's always amazing with any theatre. That's why we do it, you know. Yeah. We do it for the escapism, but we do it to feel something, you know, to relate on a human level. So hopefully it does that, as well as make people laugh hysterically.
It absolutely does. And actually, touching on kind of an element of what you said there is one of my favourite, I mean, there's so many, but it's one of my favourite things in the play and the musical, that the heart of this show isn't your usual romantic relationship, will they, won't they? It's about two young people who meet in a sandpit and bond because nobody else likes the things that they like, and it's the power of friendship, isn't it? And that alone makes it stand out from pretty much everything actually that's out. It's about friendship.
Yeah, that's what we champion so much about it, and I bang on about it all the time. I think it's really amazing how all musicals that I've been in really thus far there's always a romantic thread.
Yeah.
And we really do slam right through that in ours. But there is a romantic thread. And I think that's the thing is, it's about friendship, it's about platonic friendship and those relationships in our life that, aren't the romantic ones, but stand the test of time and carry us through. And we don't champion them enough, especially in the capacity of musical theatre. But our show definitely passes the backdoor test. And it really is all about female friendship and all about finding your person, not in a romantic capacity.
Nope. I love it. I love it. And of course, we have this show that has been written by the Olivier Award-winning writer, John Brittain. And the comedy, my goodness, I mean, it's current, it's observational, relatable, it's got heart. There's so many different things there. I mean, when you were given the script, how long did it take you as a cast to kind of actually be able to rehearse without laughing yourselves?
Oh, you know what? It's amazing because, John is phenomenally talented, a brilliant writer. And his co-writer, Matthew Floyd Jones, he was part of a duo called Frisky and Mannish, who have done years and years and years of shows, so much experience, and it is that comedy timing. And I remember when I first got I've told this story many times, but I can't stop telling it because it's my favorite. I've never had anything like it. So when I first got the 20 pages of the script early last year, it was for a workshop, so where you basically read the show in a room for a week and see what you think could improve, help the writers out, they can hear it in voices. And I thought, oh, Kathy and Stella solve a murder. Not sure about that, but we'll have a look. It's Northern. Okay, we'll have a read. And I read it, and I'd just done a show with Rebekah Hinds, Bex, who plays Stella now, and we've been mates for the best part of 5 years. And I could literally hear her voice when I read it. I was thinking, oh my God, if this isn't Bex, I don't know who I could do it with. And she'd been casting it as well. I texted her like, please, have you been casting this? If not, please get seen for it, kind of thing. And it was lucky because it was the same casting director we'd worked with, and I just could hear her in it. And from the word go, the four female leads in the show, we were all attached to it from the very, very beginning. And I remember we all crowded in the toilet afterwards, like, I hope they're going to offer it us because we really love it. We really want to be in this. And it was just so funny. It was jumping off the page. But what was great is that they were just so open to, to change, to letting us have our input. And, I've always wanted to do comedy in the capacity of musical theatre, in the capacity of theatre and telly. And this for me is quite mad because it covers all boxes. It ticks all boxes. It's a comedic musical about female-led, set up north. It's really been an amazing journey. So I love it when people come and they're surprised by what it is, because they're like, how do you fit true crime into a musical? And then they're like, wow, okay, right, great.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was completely surprised. I came along and I kind of had an idea in my head what it was going to be, and I left with a completely different idea. And I love it when a show can grab you like that and change it. And I think that's one of the things. I think even now I've seen it, I could go back and watch it. There's the comedy, there's so much in it that I would laugh at, the same things, but I'd pick up on new things as well and be like, oh, didn't see that the first time around. Do you find that when you're performing it, that there's always, oh, actually, we could make more of that, because there's just so much to it?
Definitely. I mean, it's packed full, and something, you find something new every night, especially with comedy, because it is a formula. It's beats, the way it works and the way a laugh lands, but it's only, there's a breath between it being a joke that lands perfectly with the audience and it's just out, which is the joy of comedy, because you never know how it's going to go. But no, we find new things all the time, and the joy of it is this is the most playful I've felt in a piece in a very long time, because it is packed full, and it's relentless, and it's so dense script wise. There is so much to mine out of it, and the writers are constantly changing it, which has been a challenging experience but a wonderful experience, because this is sort of currently our definitive version, but if we go again in the future, really hoping it's going to get to London in the near future.
Get it to London. Anyone out there, get it to London. It has to be there.
That's what we're really hoping for. That it will change again, and we started off as an hour show, and last year at the Edinburgh Fringe it was an hour and a half. This year at Bristol it was longer. We cut 10 minutes off Bristol for Manchester. But that's the joy of it. We keep, it's amazing to be able to keep working it like that, like, to really be there from the beginning with a piece. Yeah, I'm very, very proud to be a part of it.
It's so clever as well. It's a really intelligent piece, I think. I think it's a really intelligent piece because so far all we're doing is we're talking about all this comedy and the humor, but then because of that, there's these elements that, I mean, you like you say, you're dealing with anxiety and mental health, there's grief, there's loss, there's a little touch on police corruption, and but also one of the big things which actually made me go, oh, okay, and it packed a punch for me was, you've got to think of what you say in true crime podcast. This is someone's life that people are making into entertainment. Not yours. Yours is obviously very fictional, but actual podcasts. And so it's so clever, isn't it? That there's that balance there between the script. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think, obviously it does pose a lot of questions. The whole realm of true crime and why we, as who watches it, who enjoys it, and the demographic of that. And we've spoken a lot on that. And our production in no means sort of is glorifying that, if that makes sense. It doesn't do that. We're looking at why it is that people look at it. And we sort of end the show by saying, you might find comfort in a terrible story, and if you don't, then listen no more, but if you do, then we'll be here for you. And it's the idea of finding something that makes you feel like you're in control of it, which is horrific, isn't it? Because there's so many horrors going on in the world at the moment, and people are like, why are you doing a musical about true crime podcasters? But it's really not about it's not about the true crime at all in any way. It's about why we do that, and why there is this sort of morbid curiosity and this need to understand these horrific things, so we can have some kind of control. And a lot of the time, well, the demographic of people who listen to these podcasts and see and watch these shows are women, and women of a certain age, and that says a lot about about the genre in general, and about why they feel like they need to understand it so they can be protected. So it's been quite a journey. It's but the true crime element is just the thread that bands it together, I always say. And
is it difficult or intriguing or interesting to kind of find where the gear change is as a performer? Because obviously if you go one way, you might be seen to be mocking, but if you go the other way, you're pulling it down. Is that like a tricky balance?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, always with this piece, despite it being really heightened, is that it has to be rooted in truth. And especially with the second act, there's a lot going on for Kathy in the second act. I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but it's sort of it's a really fine balance between the crazy heightened comedy and then the moments where you're like, whoa, okay, this is serious. And there definitely is a responsibility there, but I think we've worked for so long on the piece, and tonally we're all very much on the same page, that we're hitting the balance just right, I think, by now.
I can concur that balance was brilliant. It was absolutely perfect. And again, what we've not even talked about yet, because there's so much to talk about, is the songs. My goodness, these songs. I mean, they're not only absolute genius lyrically, but they're anthemic. The belters. They're just brilliant. And not giving too much away, but the one where you're in the mortuary is just oh my goodness. It's brilliant. Have you got any favorites?
Oh gosh, it is really hard. I think my favorite song, despite it being very difficult, is a song called Wow Felicia. We're going to wife Felicia Taylor, so she's the true crime author, and it's that one. And at least that one goes into one about friendship called "If I Didn't Have You, I Would Die." That section is my favourite because it really establishes their friendship and what they mean to each other. And when we were building that, all I could think of were, especially because I'm doing it with my friend, my friend Bex, who is actually my friend, but all this, all of my female mates who have been there for me throughout my life, and so many different capacities, and what they all bring, and the things that we share, and those little nuances, and our little sayings and phrases and stuff. And it's so it now is so in our bodies with me and Bex that it's just, they are amazing to sing every night. They really are, and to really have fun with. From the beginning, the music has always been phenomenal, but we only had our amazing writer Matthew on keyboard for the past last year at Edinburgh, so we really were the underdog. We knew it was a great show, but we didn't know how it was going to go down. And then to go this year to a band of 4 has been amazing. Now the songs are so full, extremely catchy, extremely funny lyrically, but yeah, like you say, absolute belters. It's a really hard sing, surprisingly,
No,
but yeah, it's challenging vocally, but because it doesn't stop, it's a train you don't want to get off, so you just keep on going. But we've now actually released 4 songs, which has been amazing to be on an original recording. So they came out on Tuesday, so that's 4 of the songs from the show. Not ones that are amazing because they don't give too much away about the storyline and the ending, which is great. But yeah, we're very proud of them. So they are now available to stream on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your music. So yeah, sure.
That's the first thing I'm doing when we finish this chat. I'm absolutely all over that. And I think pulling all of that together, like you say, whether it's because you all workshopped it together, like you said, the 4 main characters workshopped together from the off, or whether it's because, as you've said, it's been from the fringe and it's had all these different rewrites because it's played to so many different styles and sizes of audiences. I don't know, but the version that I saw, it feels like it knows exactly who it is. That's the only way I can say it. It knows exactly who it is. It knows exactly who its audience is, and it's proud of that, and it is shouting it from the rooftops and going, it's unapologetic, isn't it? It's
yeah, it really is. I think first year we didn't know how we were going to be received. We were very proud of it. We found it funny ourselves, and because we're all northern, we had that level, that side of the humour down to a T. But obviously, we were at the fringe and they're a very different kind of audience. And then this year it got a bit longer and it felt kind of like it was really there and established because we'd done it for a month. We knew these characters inside out, but it felt a little bit like Kathy and Stella's awkward teenage phase because we were sort of ironing out, the kinks, and we were in a different type of space, the underbelly, which is kind of a really long, narrow space, which is interesting. And then to get to Bristol or Vic, it really felt like we were here now. We had a full set for the first time, an interval, but now Manchester just feels like the definitive version at the moment because it feels so comfortable. It's amazing to be, up north, and also we've worked all the kinks out by this point. We really feel like we know exactly who we are.
That's what it felt like. That I'm trying to put it in words when I've been telling people about the show, and it just feels so rooted in itself. It's a feeling. It's just a feeling. Basically, you need to go and watch it because you just need to go and watch it to understand what we're trying to articulate because it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, Bronte. Honestly, it's been my pleasure. It's really interesting doing it this way around when I've seen the show and I've seen the person, and then
that's lovely. That's great because then we can have a proper chat about it.
So thank you so much. It's going to be at home until the 21st of October, and it is absolutely worth it. Go along. It's going to be huge. I think this is going to be one of them big cult followings. I think it's going to be huge. So go along. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Consider this your trigger warning. From this point on, there's no turning back, no deviations. We're staying on track. The show that you're listening to is Kathy and Stella's Murder Podcast, except no substitute. Kathy and Stella's Murder Podcast, the perfect length for your commute. Tales to shock and flabbergast, well researched and unbiased. Hit subscribe and do it fast to Kathy and Stella's Murder Podcast. Kathy and Stella's Murder Podcast.